हाय एवरीवन, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। सो आज के वीडियो में हम हिस्ट्री का फर्स्ट चैप्टर करने वाले हैं। ये पूरा शॉर्ट नोट्स है जो मैंने बनाया है। तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं। एमसीक्यूज ऑन पीरियडाइजेशन, कॉलोनिज्म एंड हिस्टोरिकल सोर्सेस। तो एमसीक्यूज है, यहाँ पे 4 ऑप्शंस है। तो लेट्स सी। फर्स्ट वन, हु डिवाइडेड इंडियन हिस्ट्री इनटू 3 पीरियड्स, हिंदू, मुस्लिम एंड ब्रिटिश। यहाँ पे 4 ऑप्शंस है, तो आंसर इज बी, जेम्स मिल। एक्सप्लेनेशन, जेम्स मिल is Scottish economist and political philosopher divided in Indian history into 3 periods in his book A History of British India 1817. Next question, what was James Mill's view about Indian society before British rule? So the answer is C, it was full of religious intolerance, caste taboos and superstitions. Explanation, Mill believed that India was backward and needed British rule to bring civilization, European manners and progress. Next, third question, what was the major flaw in James Mill periodization of Indian history? So the answer is B, it was based on the religious identity of rulers rather than socio-economic conditions. Explanation, historians argue that religion alone cannot define a historical period as multiple faiths existed simultaneously. Fourth question, how do modern historians classify Indian history? Answer C, ancient, medieval, modern. Explanation, this classification is borrowed from Western history but is debated because of the modern period under British rule did not bring democracy, equality or economic growth. Fifth question is, what is the meaning of colonialism? Answer is B, a system where one country subjugates another, affecting its economy, society and culture. Explanation, colonialism refers to the control and exploitation of one country by another, leading to major changes in economy, customs and governance. Next, sixth question, which of the following is an example of colonial country by the British? Answer is C, producing crops needed for British industries. Explanation, the British forced Indian armies to grow cash crops like cotton and indigo for British industries, disrupting the local economy. Why do historians divide history into periods? Answer is B, to capture the characteristics and central features of a time. Explanation, periodizations help historians study historical events based on significant changes in society, politics and economy. Next question, which of the following sources did the British use to maintain records? Option C is the right answer, administrative reports, memos and official documents. Explanation, the British believed in keeping written records of every instruction, policy and decision of effectively administer India. Ninth question, what are the census operations started by the British? Answer is B, regular population counts including caste, religion and occupation details. Explanation, from the 19th century the British conducted census operation every 10 years to gather demographic data. 10th question, why is the term modern period debated in context of British rule of India? Answer B, British rule did not bring democracy, equality or industrial growth. Explanation, unlike in the West, the British rule in India led to economic exploitation and lack of freedom, making it difficult to call it a truly modern period. Why is history referred to as our past instead of a single past? Answer is A, because different groups experienced history differently. Explanation, not all people experience British rule the same way. Farmers, tribals, workers and elites had different perspectives. 12th question, okay, where are most of the British officials record preserved today? Answer B, National archives and museums. Explanation: the British established archives and museums near important administrative centers like the Cathedral placed in Italy to preserve historical documents. 13th question: what was the main reason behind the 1946 Royal Indian Navy mutiny? Answer B: protest against poor food quality and working conditions. Explanation: Indian naval personnel protested against low wages and terrible food quality as reported in Home Department files of 1946. 14th question: how did printing technology affect the British administrative records? Answer B: it helped in making multiple copies of official documents. Explanation: by the mid 19th century, printing allowed easy duplication of reports and policies, improving record keeping efficiency. 15th question: which among the following is not an example of an official British record? Answer C: autobiographies of freedom fighters. Example explanation: British records mainly contained administrative data while freedom fighters' writing reflected resistance against British rule. Okay. Which of the following was a common practice under colonial administration? Conducting detailed surveys. Explanation: the British believed that proper knowledge of a country was essential for effective administration. They conducted revenue surveys, botanical surveys, geological surveys, and other studies to gather information about India's land, people, and resources. What was the main reason behind the British conducting surveys in India? Answer B: to gather data for better governance and control. Explanation: the British conducted surveys to understand topography, soil quality, cropping patterns, local histories, and social structures, which helped them in administrating the region efficiently. What type of surveys were conducted under British rule? All of the above. The British administration carried out multiple surveys, including revenue, botanical, geological, and forest surveys to collect extensive data about India. What was the purpose of census operations conducted by the British? Option B is the right answer: to record detailed information about the Indian population. The British conducted census every 10 years from the late 19th century onwards. The document population details, including caste, religion, and occupation. Why do official British records not give a complete picture of Indian history? They reflected only the perspective of British officers. British official records mainly documented the thoughts, interests, and priorities of colonial rulers, ignoring the experiences as voices of common people like tribal peasants and workers. How do historians supplement official records to understand Indian history? By analyzing personal diaries, newspapers, and autobiographies. Explanation: apart from official records, historians also study personal account books, newspapers, and oral histories to get a more comprehensive understanding of the past. What was the main message conveyed by British representations of the 1857 rebellion? The rebels were portrayed as greedy and brutal. British illustrated books and reports depicted the rebels of 1857 as violent and greedy to justify British actions against them. According to James Mill's periodization of Indian history, which periods did he propose? Hindu, Muslim, and British. Explanation: James Mill divided Indian history into Hindu, Muslim, and British periods, which was characterized by oversimplifying history based on religion. Why is James Mill's classification of Indian history considered problematic? All of the above. Mill's classification is characterized by because it oversimplifies history based on religion, assumes history supervisivity, and ignores the diversity of rulers and cultures. Why do historians refer to British rule in India as a colonial period? Because it led to significant political, economic, and social changes. The British rule in India caused widespread changes in administration, economy, and society, making it colonial period. What did the British do not ensure the preservation of official documents? Set up record rooms in administrative offices. The British established recorded rooms in Tehsildar offices, collectorates, commissioner offices, and law courts to store important documents. What was the impact of the spread of printing in British India? All of the above. The spread of printing helped in producing multiple copies of government record, increased newspaper circulation, and encouraged public debates. What does the 1946 police strike report reveal about the condition of colonial police forces? They suffered from low salaries and poor food quality. The police strike report mentioned that policemen protested against low salaries and cheap, sorry, bad quality food, highlighting poor working conditions. What does 1946 Royal Indian Navy mutiny report suggest about British control? British rule was weakening before independence. The mutiny reports show that even the armed forces are revolting against British rule, signaling the decline of colonial control. The British established botanical gardens and natural history museums primarily to study plant spices and their uses. The British collected plant specimens and studied their uses for economic and administrative purposes. Why did the British conduct extensive surveys in India to understand and administer the country effectively? The British believed that a country needed to be properly known for effective administration, so they conducted revenue, medical, zoological surveys. What was the primary focus of census operations started by the British in the late 19th century? Counting the number of people and classifying them by caste, religion, and occupation. The British conducted a census event every 10 years to maintain detailed records of India's population. What is the major limitation of official British records? They provide only the viewpoint of British officials. Official records only show the British perspective and do not reflect the experiences of common people. Which of the following sources can help understand the experiences of common people under British rule? Diaries, newspapers, and autobiographies. In 1817, James Mill divided Indian history into three periods: Hindu, Muslim, and British. Why is James Mill classification of Indian history criticized? It classified history only on the basis of religion. What term do historians use to describe British rule in India? Colonial period. British rule led to major political, economic, and social changes, making it colonial period rather than a modern one. What was the significance of record keeping in British administration? It helped official study and debate policies. The British maintained detailed records to assist in governance and control. Which of the following institutions were established by the British to preserve official records? Archives and museums. The British set up record rooms, archives, and museums to store and preserve important documents. Okay. Sorry. The National Archives and National Museum in New Delhi were established close to Regal Palace because they reflected the British emphasis on documentation. Their location near the Regal Palace highlighted their importance in British governance. What was the main reason behind the 1946 policy strike in Delhi? Poor salary and bad food quality. What do reports from the 1946 Royal Indian Mutiny indicate? The British administration was losing control. How did British rule impact Indian culture? It forced farmers to grow cash crops for export. Why do historians today prefer calling British rule as colonial rule period of modern period instead of modern period? British rule did not provide freedom, equality, or economic growth. British rule led to economic exploitation and social inequality, contradicting the characteristics of a true modern period. So, here we have completed the history's first chapter, and in the next video, we'll continue with the next chapters. So I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you understand the video. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.